And we have local Mary too. Local recording. Okay.
We're recording right now.
Good. We're live. I just can't tell if it's local, but oh my gosh, holy day. Namaste and welcome, beloved mighty companions. Go for
Namaste y
God.
Namaste, bienvenidos, amados compañeros. Vamos por Dios.
Oh my gosh. So profound, so profound. Follow Jesus. Follow
Muy
Jesus.
profundo seguir a Jesús.
Mute Mary.
Let me go here. Let me see. I'm going to see. Give me a thumbs up. Is the sound good? The audio's good? Good. Okay. I'm in New Orleans. Holy Spirit assignment. Look, if he tells you.
Estoy en Nueva Orleans en una asignación de Jesús.
You know, sometimes for a time you have to lay these kinds of things aside, you know, like the idea of your family, or you have to really trust Jesus 100%.
Tú tienes que llegar a un punto donde dejas de lado todos estos conceptos de familia y confiar 100% en Jesús.
Okay. And you have to be willing to lay aside things of the world, like your idea, in order for them to heal. You might need to step away from your family for a time.
Y quizá requieras estar un tiempo alejado de tu familia para sanar lo que tienes que sanar con relación a estos conceptos.
Or other things of the world that you think that happiness comes from. You know, you have to step away from ideas so that you can see that happiness is you.
Tienes que hacerte a un lado de las ideas para darte cuenta que la felicidad eres tú.
Oh my God, it's just so funny. You just laugh when you see, oh yeah, okay. It's all an idea that happiness is not here.
Y te das cuenta de lo feliz que es darte, de ver que la felicidad está simplemente aquí.
It's like Jesus said, it's thought that are like a pair of scissors and you poke your eye out, and he's trying to take that away from you.
Porque Jesús dice que los pensamientos como ese par de tijeras que te estás sacando los ojos y que necesitas que te las quiten.
But part of the trust building with him is giving him everything. Here, Jesus, I give you everything. Okay?
Y parte del tema es entregarle todo a Jesús, decirle, Jesús, te entrego todo.
So that the idea that something in form, a thought form, can make you happy.
La idea de que algo en la forma, un pensamiento en la forma te puede hacer feliz.
But you'll see it comes back. All right? Look.
Y can you say that again?
When it's purified, it's going to come back to you. It's going to come back to you. Really, you're going to see it. It's crazy.
Cuando tú hayas purificado esto, vas a volver a ellos o con ellos. Pero porque esto es locura.
We just laugh our heads off at the center because, you know, we laugh our heads off at the center because I do, because it was like when I started the journey, it's like, oh, Jesus, I give up food. I'm going to give it up. I'm never going to have good food again.
Y entonces en el centro nos reímos de esto porque algunas veces decimos, ay, Jesús, siento que no me vas a volver a dar esta comida y evidentemente vuelve.
But it's for a time so that you can see that you think your happiness comes from food, as something you eat. You know, I'll be happy if and when I have this kind of food.
Y es por un tiempo que, porque tenemos la creencia que soy feliz si tengo este tipo de comida.
So the humor of it, look, I grew up in New Orleans, like food was big.
Y el tema es que yo nací viví en New Orleans y la comida aquí es un gran asunto.
You know, 107 relatives would show up at Easter and everybody's bringing food and we're talking about food when you're in line to eat food, you're talking about food.
Y 170 personas, miembros de la familia, donde vienen y hablamos de la comida y todo está relacionado con la comida.
But you have to see and let him wash that out by letting him choose all that for you. You see, so your your happiness is you instead of what you eat.
Entonces necesitas dejar que esto sea lavado de tu mente para que te des cuenta que tu felicidad eres tú, independiente de lo que comas.
You know, because Tony Robbins would say this, that you're eating your memories.
Porque Tony Robbins diría, te estás comiendo tus memorias.
Okay, you're eating your memories. And he's right. It's an idea. You're eating and then you're in the thoughts about the food and all that kind of thing.
Y evidentemente es comerse su idea porque estamos pensando en esta clase de cosas relacionadas con la comida.
Jesus is not unaware of what you like to eat, believe me.
Y Jesús no es que sea inconsciente de lo que te gusta a ti comer.
I mean, I walk in my mom's house. When your mind's purified, you'll see it. It'll come back. Like I walk in my mom's house. She's got a big old boudin, if you know what boudin.
What is that?
Okay.
A big what?
Boudin. Boudin. Boudin.
Entonces ella dice como que ella porque pudo volver a su casa y tener un gran no sé qué Buda.
It's like a form of sausage. Okay.
Es como un tipo de salchicha.
But you know, but I wouldn't trade all the happiness in the world to have some. If he said don't have it, it would sit there in the refrigerator.
Y si él me dice a mí que no me la coma, pues simplemente la dejo en el refrigerador.
But then today I'm, you know, kind of running some errands and he goes, yeah, go to Johnny's.
Y entonces hoy estábamos haciendo las vueltas y me dijo, sí, ve a Johnny's, que es el lugar de donde
go to Johnny's, and Johnny says hot seafood right there, you know, hot shrimp, hot crab. So, you know, it's not that you're deprived, you know, you have to get beyond the idea that food or anything in the world is your happiness, the thought.
Entonces hoy y fuimos a este lugar donde hay comida de mar y demás, pero es mirar este pensamiento de la creencia de que podemos ser privados, este pensamiento de privación.
You know, because then Jesus will show you you're the celebration. You're all that is celebrating all the time, and God doesn't hold anything against you if you have crawfish.
Y te dice que tú eres toda la celebración de ti mismo y no es que Dios te quiera negar algo.
But if you hold it against yourself, see, he's got to tell you where you're holding crawfish to keep yourself out of out of heaven, because your ego's using it to stay in the dream state.
Pero entonces él te tiene que mostrar dónde estamos utilizando esto para mantenernos en el sueño.
You know.
Y sí.
And look, I had totally forgotten that, you know, I used to fish or go fishing, you know, deep sea fishing or.
Sí, a mí, yo recuerdo que a mí me gustaba ir a pescar, dice ella.
You know, this week I had an assignment. Okay, go bass fishing. I caught a big old bass. Look, that's not what I was thinking was on the list.
Y esta semana me dijo que fuera a pescar y yo esto no lo tenía en la lista.
How big was that? But anyway, but it's not being, it's just the happiness is you know, it's not because you catch a bass or you eat something or you have to.
La felicidad eres tú, tienes que darte cuenta que no se trata de que pesques algo o obtengas algo o comas
so
algo.
Unless he said, unless the guidance was there, I can walk by, you know, because it's love is not about what you do, it's who you are.
Porque, y si hubiese tenido que pasar de largo en esto, lo hubiese hecho porque la felicidad no es lo que tú haces, sino lo que tú eres.
So it's so infinite to talk about thoughts and how we abdicate the kingdom of heaven to thought forms.
Y vemos cómo hemos abdicado al reino de los cielos por los pensamientos.
And I've realized with him, you cannot know where you're giving up the kingdom unless he shows you and you trust him.
Y tú no puedes darte cuenta dónde estás abdicando el reino hasta que no le permitas que él te lo muestre y confíes tú en él.
You know, and it brings us to where he says in A Course in Miracles, this first paragraph on the power of thought, the first paragraph.
Y como lo dice en el curso, en el primer parágrafo, el poder del pensamiento.
You can do anything I ask.
Tú puedes hacer todo lo que yo te pida.
Of course you can. You're all of consciousness.
Sí, por supuesto, tú eres la conciencia.
But he's giving you things to do so you can see that you're not a doer, you're holiness.
Y él nos da acciones para hacer, para que nos demos cuenta que no somos el hacedor, sino que no somos el hacedor.
And it's to show you in your mind where you're misusing thought to beat yourself up.
Y dónde estás usando falsamente los pensamientos para hacerte a ti mismo un pensamiento.
He says, I have asked you to perform miracles and have made it clear that miracles are natural, corrective, healing, and universal.
Y él dice que tienes que hacer los milagros de una manera natural. And healing what?
They are natural, corrective, healing, and universal. This is the reading from A Course in Miracles.
Que son naturales y que esto es una lectura del curso de milagros.
And they're just going to wash out all idea of thought is what they're going to do.
Lo que él va a hacer es que va a limpiar todas estas ideas que tenemos acerca de los pensamientos. Eso es lo que va a hacer.
That's what they do. They wash out all the identity that's given in thought.
Lo que va a hacer es limpiar toda la identidad que tenemos en los pensamientos.
There is nothing they cannot do.
No hay nada que no puedas hacer.
Now I realize what he's saying. Oh, but they cannot be performed in the spirit of doubt or fear.
Pero no pueden ser realizados en el miedo.
See, he's pointing to your power.
Él está apuntando a tu poder.
To transcend thought.
De trascender los pensamientos.
You're not like a thought machine. You know, we treat ourselves like thoughts are real. I can see that now.
Y no, para que no creamos que somos una máquina de hacer pensamientos.
And you see, we prevent our own miracles through our own doubts. That's just.
Repeat the first part, please.
You prevent your own miracles through your own doubt thoughts to block your ability to accept miracles.
Entonces, evitas los milagros utilizando estos para evitar precisamente los milagros.
When you're afraid of anything, you are acknowledging its power to hurt you. This is profound.
Are you reading the
Yes, I'm
quotes?
reading the first paragraph that I sent, The Power of Thought.
Okay.
Sentence number 4.
Okay. Let me see. Okay, yes. The mind is very powerful.
When you are afraid of anything, you are acknowledging its power to hurt you.
That is number
4, line 4 in ACIM text chapter 2, part 2, The Power of Thought.
Sorry, I am lost.
So it's the
Eh.
first paragraph that I sent to you.
Okay.
Oh, well,
Is the first one, the mind is
well,
very
I'm
powerful?
seeing now, let me go back to it. Now I'm seeing what happened was it got truncated. Hold on. For some
Okay.
reason, I'm going to
Okay.
send it to you right now. Because for some reason, that first part of the paragraph didn't get to you.
Okay.
For some reason. Oh, it's just not taking that first part. Hold on, I'm sending it to you so you can see it. Yeah, it will not. Let me see.
Yeah.
Power of thought. I think it's because it's on 2 pages. Hold on, it's just not taking the whole thing. It's not. Yeah, if you look at the last thing I sent you, you can do anything I ask.
You can do, yes.
Okay.
And number 4?
Yeah, number 4. When
you are, okay.
When you are afraid of anything, you are acknowledging its power to hurt you.
Cuando le tienes miedo a algo, le estás dando el poder de herirte, de hacerte daño.
You have to see that you are the one fueling fear. You're giving fear all its power.
Tú tienes que darte cuenta que tú le estás dando el combustible, ese poder.
It's really important to withdraw your support of thought and fear.
Es ver que tú le estás dando todo su apoyo con el miedo.
Remember that where your heart is, there is your treasure also.
Recuerda que donde está tu corazón, ahí está tu tesoro también.
So it's very profound. If you place treasure on thought, treasure on fear, that's what you will experience.
Y por eso si el pensamiento es tu tesoro, eso es lo que vas a experimentar.
You believe in what you value.
Tú crees en lo que tú valoras.
So you remember in the diagram, if you look at that diagram again, and we can put it in the, because I'm traveling, I don't have it in front of me, but where you have desires, and then out of desires, all these, thoughts, feelings, emotions rise up out of that.
Entonces, vemos en el diagrama, no lo tengo aquí porque estoy viajando, este diagrama donde están las creencias y los pensamientos.
But if you're experiencing fear, you see it. We see it in the light circles all the time. You can go under it, and look at the fuel that you're putting into it.
Y tú puedes ver en los círculos de luz que tú puedes ir por debajo del miedo y ver cuál es el combustible que está generando esto.
You can see with Jesus under there how you're valuing fear experience more than the experience of love.
Y ver con Jesús dónde estás valorando más el miedo que el amor.
You believe in what you value.
Tú valoras lo que tú crees en lo que tú valoras.
See? So the beliefs come, thoughts rise up, and then it's like a little wedding happens with believing you're valuing them, and then going, yeah.
Es como un casamiento, como un anillo ahí donde se unen.
But it seems like beliefs are, just something you have to live with. No, they're not.
Es como creer que tenemos que vivir con estas creencias y no, tú no tienes por qué vivir con esto.
No, you do not have to live with them.
Tú no tienes que vivir con esto.
No, you just have to see where you're valuing wrongly and have him coach you. Here's where you're valuing wrongly in the subconscious mind.
Y él te puede mostrar dónde estás valorando erradamente en tu mente subconsciente.
And then he says it right here in line 8. Your understanding will then inevitably value wrongly.
tu entendimiento ¿dónde estás valorando, demostrar dónde estás valorando erradamente?
And by endowing all thoughts with equal power will inevitably destroy peace.
Que inevitablemente van a destruir la paz estos pensamientos.
This is unequivocally, of course, in The Buck Stops Here.
Esto es un curso de donde el bus para aquí.
I mean, as we said before, every word in this book, he's
Como
not
hemos
kidding.
Como hemos dicho ya, cada palabra en este libro, él no está bromeando, es cierto.
That is why the Bible speaks of the peace of God which passeth understanding.
Por eso la Biblia habla de la paz de Dios que sobrepasa el entendimiento.
Because you can't understand it, because understanding something comes from putting together collections of thought.
Porque no
gluing
puedes
them
entender
together.
nada. Porque entender es tratar de poner ordenadamente una cantidad de pensamientos.
This peace is totally incapable of being shaken by errors of any kind.
Esta paz es totalmente es total y no puede ser movida por el error de ningún tipo.
What does he talk about? Errors of thought.
Aquí está hablando del error de pensamiento.
Thought goes floating by, it gets stapled with a belief. Here's the meaning that I hold in that thought. Here's what it means to a little me.
Aquí, esto es lo que significa mi pequeño yo, esto es lo que significa estos pensamientos.
It denies
y niegan que la habilidad de que nada te puede afectar. Okay. Okay. I lost you for a
what?
moment. I lost you for a moment.
Okay. Number 11.
Okay, yes.
Or can you still hear? It's on, my interconnection is unstable. The internet's unstable here. Can somebody give me a thumbs up? Okay. Maria, you still there?
Yes, yes, I'm here.
Okay. So it's number 11. It denies the ability of anything not of God to affect you.
Niega la habilidad de cualquier cosa que no sea Dios que te afecte.
This is why contemplating light is so valuable.
Por eso es que contemplar la luz es tan valioso.
Because if you contemplate it, you will see that there's something here which is unaffected, that thoughts don't touch.
Es darnos cuenta de que hay algo aquí que no puede ser tocado por los pensamientos.
You know, and he talks about this is proper use of denial.
Y este es el propio uso de la negación.
This is so ridiculously handy. It's really handy, the proper use of denial.
Y esto es muy manejable, el verdadero uso de la negación.
I can't tell you the number of times that just say, Jesus, do I need to be experiencing this right now? And it goes, no. And it just, you just cut it off. You know, you realize you're the one generating it.
Y el número de veces que yo le he preguntado a Jesús, tengo que experimentar esto, y él me dice, no. Entonces yo me doy cuenta que yo soy la que estoy generando esto. Entonces puedo
And then you
parar.
see that you don't need to do that anymore. You don't have to engage with these thoughts and beliefs. You're beyond that.
Y te das cuenta que no te tienes que enganchar con estos pensamientos porque tú estás más allá de ello.
But this is a really important distinction.
Pero esto es una importante distinción.
It's not, you're not denying the denial. See, you're not hiding the denial from yourself.
Tú no estás escondiendo la negación de ti mismo.
Okay, you're just saying, look, I may have this denial, but it cannot harm me. I can't be harmed by these thoughts.
Te das cuenta que tú has hecho esta negación, pero que tú no puedes ser herido o afectado por estos pensamientos.
Okay, that you know what the solution is. It's to correct the error of the thought.
Y la solución es corregir este error de pensamiento.
He's calling us to accept the power that we have to take all these unforgiven, all these ideas to the light to see what's true. Is this true?
Él nos está entrenando para llevar todo esto a la luz y preguntarle si es verdad.
Because otherwise it's in a constant state of being fearful over the thoughts that are arising.
De lo contrario, estaríamos miedosos de los pensamientos que van surgiendo.
And he says it, since error and darkness are the same, it corrects errors automatically.
Y él dice que los errores de pensamiento son corregidos automáticamente.
You know, what's really glorious about Jesus is he's only going to point to how powerful you really are. That's his function.
Lo glorioso de Jesús es que nos apunta a lo grandiosos que somos. Esa es su función.
And that's what the ego's mad about. It's like, I want to be weak. I want to be powerless.
Y eso es lo que el ego no quiere, porque quiere, yo quiero ser impotente, yo quiero ser débil.
No, you're infinitely powerful, infinitely powerful.
Pero no, tú eres infinitamente poderoso.
So he's talking about how true denial is a powerful protective device. Oh my gosh, that's so handy.
Y él nos está mostrando el poder de la negación.
He's telling you right here, you can and should deny any belief that error can hurt you.
Puedes ver que ningún pensamiento te puede hacer daño.
This kind of denial is not a concealment, but a correction. So you want, if you're going to, don't deny that you're denying something, you're denying that any of these insane thoughts can hurt you.
Y simplemente vas a negar que, ver que estos pensamientos locos no te pueden hacer daño.
Yes, if you have a desire and he shows it to you, you have to be honest. And yes, I see that. But you just see it. It's a momentary thing. You don't have to make it real. You don't have to live inside of it. It's just, it's momentary for the correction. I have an error of thought. I'm going to change my mind. That's it, period.
Es darse cuenta que esto es un tema momentáneo, que no tienes que vivir con él y que tienes que darte cuenta que es un error de pensamiento y punto.
Everything in A Course in Miracles rests on the power of the mind for us to change our mind about this insanity. That's it. These thoughts are real.
Y todo el poder del curso está apuntando al poder que tenemos de cambiar estos pensamientos y ver que no son reales.
And you can ask Jesus, but you do not know which of your thoughts that you're using to deny the kingdom. This is the key here.
Y aquí el punto o la clave aquí está que nosotros no sabemos qué pensamientos estamos usando para negar el reino.
This
Por
is
eso
why
necesitamos a Jesús.
This is why going into a partnership with him so he can show you, look here, he's going to point out every place where you have beliefs that are disturbing the peace, your natural state of peace.
Y por eso es que es importante tener un compañerismo con él para que él te muestre dónde estás negando la paz.
Denial of error is a strong defense of truth.
Las negaciones de la verdad es una gran negación de la... which one is that?
Number 5, denial of error is a strong defense of truth.
Las negaciones de la verdad son una defensa en contra de la verdad. Perdón. Okay.
But denial of truth results in miscreation. See, when you're denying truth, you're miscreating all these thoughts and feelings and emotions to deny your holiness.
Pero la negación de la verdad es la creación falsa, toda esta creación de pensamientos e ideas.
And that's a projection. Somebody outside me is doing something. The world is doing something to me.
Y ahí viene la proyección. Alguien me está haciendo algo a mí.
So it's a matter of seeing that you are the chooser at a subconscious level of all experience.
Que te está apuntando que tú eres
Okay.
el que elige en tu mente subconsciente las experiencias.
This is glorious. In the service of the right mind, the denial of error frees the mind. It's glorious.
Esto es glorioso. En
And
el servicio
reestablish. Go ahead.
en el servicio de la mente correcta, la negación al error libera la mente.
And reestablishes the freedom of the will.
Y le restablece la libertad de la voluntad.
It's so profound to see that we're the puppet here. We're allowing ourselves to be little ego puppets.
Y vemos viendo cómo nos gusta permitirle al ego que nosotros seamos unas marionetas.
The freedom of the will is the freedom to celebrate holiness, all that you are, unchanged, the unchanging one.
Y la libertad de la voluntad es ver que.
But it's trusting him to show you every place in your mind where you're miscreating hell for yourself.
Es confiar en él, que él te muestre dónde estás eligiendo el infierno para ti mismo.
And where you're fighting with him to keep hell in the mind, in the subconscious mind, and going, this is a really good deal.
Y dónde estamos peleando con él para mantener este infierno en la mente y decir que esto es un buen trato.
It's funny, but it's not funny before you let him show you where you have heaven and hell flipped upside down in your subconscious mind, where you think what the ego does is heaven.
Y ver que él te muestra dónde está invertido el cielo y el infierno, donde el ego cree que el infierno es el cielo.
When the will is really free, it cannot miscreate because it recognizes only truth.
Cuando la voluntad es, puede crear falsamente, porque es el reconocimiento de que hay solo la verdad, lo que hay es la verdad.
You recognize identity, you recognize this happiness, that miscreating gets you nothing.
Y ver que la creación falsa no te da nada.
So the fastest way is to catch the twitch and go, I'm in miscreation, I'm in error of thought, I need a miracle, and get that miracle.
El punto está en que te des cuenta que estás creando falsamente, que tienes un error de pensamiento y pedir el milagro.
And join.
Y unirte.
Today I was doing a podcast for the Foundation for Inner Peace.
Hoy estaba haciendo un podcast para el Inner Peace, para la Fundación de la Paz Interior.
And, they're asking me, well, how did you find the course? And, you kind of telling, a lot of you've already heard that kind of story. So you can listen.
Y entonces me están preguntando cómo había sido mi historia.
But they asked me, I talked about joining, it's the way to hear Jesus.
Entonces ellos me preguntaron y yo estaba hablando acerca de la unión porque la forma de escuchar a Jesús, la unión.
And one of the interviewers said to me, but, do you have to join? What if you don't want to join? And they go, can't you do this yourself?
Y entonces uno de los entrevistadores me preguntó, ¿y qué pasa si no me quiero unir? Y me dice, que le contestaba que no hay manera.
Well, quite a few of you probably know that Jesus came in with some direct things to say on that one.
Y bueno, ustedes pueden ver que Jesús me dirigió a decir cosas directas con relación a este tema.
I mean, Course in Miracles students love this one. I can go do this by myself.
Y a los estudiantes del curso les encanta decir, yo puedo hacer esto por mi
No.
cuenta.
You cannot purify your mind to uber purified because your greatest fear of God is reflected in what you see in your brother.
Y tú no puedes purificarla porque la proyección está directamente sobre tu hermano.
I mean, he is offering the most phenomenal way to uber purify your mind through your brother.
Y él te está dando una forma de purificar tu mente a través de tu hermano.
You know, by seeing the way you think about your thoughts about your brother is your thoughts you have about God, your judgments of your brother.
Entonces, para que veas que los pensamientos que tú tienes acerca de tu hermano son los pensamientos que tienes acerca de
So
Dios. Y los juicios que tienes acerca de tu hermano es lo mismo.
So when you start seeing how your brother is bringing God to your door, it's profound.
Cuando te das cuenta que tu hermano está trayendo a Dios a tu puerta, es muy profundo.
You know, that forgiveness, Jesus gives forgiveness. Why in a Bible? Because he knows that the judgment of the brother is where you're judging yourself.
Porque él te está mostrando que el juicio de tu hermano es el juicio que te estás haciendo a ti mismo.
Thoughts leave not their source. That means they don't go out there to anything. You're attacking yourself with your own thoughts every time you have a belief about a brother.
Te das cuenta que te estás atacando a ti mismo cada vez que tienes una creencia acerca de tu hermano.
It's the game of ceasing to miscreate hell for yourself, basically, through thought. That's the deal.
Es dejar de crear el infierno a través de los pensamientos para ti mismo.
And the amazing thing about it is he is giving a way to help you go into the subconscious mind and see the power source for thought and clear that the energy source and end it at the level of where the energy is.
Y él nos está dando las uniones para ver dónde está la energía que está generando esta experiencias.
And to see where you're fueling hell for yourself through the thoughts and through those desires in the subconscious mind to experience hell.
Y cómo estás dándole combustible a esto a través de tus deseos.
You know, and then so they asked me, well, what did you do when it was really hard? You know, because there are times when it seems really hard.
Y entonces me preguntaban, ¿y qué tienes que hacer cuando parece muy duro, muy difícil?
Now,
porque hay momentos que parece difícil, dice.
What's funny about that is like at that time, I can't remember, you know, because you forget, you know, walk in the fire because you're not focused on the past of walk in the fire. You're focused on your happiness now. And you see, you chose it for yourself not to be happy.
Y ella dice que que sí, cuando pasa el fuego, pero en estos momentos, cuando ya estás en la felicidad, ya no piensas en eso, ya no piensas en el camino que tuviste que pasar.
But when I thought about it, you know, and then I thought about, okay, let me think of some times when it was really a bear. Okay, see if I can.
Bueno, entonces voy a tratar de pensar en algo cuando yo estaba en ese proceso.
You know, once you understand it's a bear because you like giving yourself a hard time, that's really helpful.
Es muy útil cuando te das cuenta que tú te estás dando un mal momento.
But I could see before that time, like, you know, these brutal headaches. I mean, it would be so brutal. And I had to be, for me, I had to be determined. Did we lose you, Maria?
Sorry, I can't hear you very well.
Okay, you want to try it again? I'm talking about like there was a time when I was really experiencing a really brutal headache, seemingly just horrific headache.
Entonces ella está hablando de las experiencias cuando tenía estos horrorosos dolores de cabeza.
Or I would get, I had been forgiven a lot and I'm going, what the heck, Jesus, I'm just sick as a dog or whatever.
Y entonces yo le decía, pero yo estaba perdonando bastante, Jesús, ¿qué diablos es este dolor de cabeza?
And this was really the time that I had to stay glued to him, and just say, be determined. I'm going to see the truth of this no matter what.
Sorry, I be determined.
I'm determined to see the truth of this no matter what.
Y yo le decía a Jesús, estoy dispuesta a ver la verdad, no me importa qué se requiera.
No matter what, I am going to, I could see how much determination it took to keep going and keep my focus on Jesus and get him to help me clear out the basement, because we're so used to being weak.
Y simplemente me pegué de Jesús y para que me ayudara a clarificar, a limpiar el sótano, porque nos gusta jugar a ser muy débiles.
And he's saying that, and he said that in a course, you think you're weak, so you have to rely on my strength. And I did, and I do.
Él dice que nosotros nos gusta creer que somos débiles, por eso tenemos que confiar en su fortaleza, y yo lo hice.
But, part of it, there's so many mixed desires. There's a desire for God and his kingdom, but you don't, until your mind purifies through a lot of miracles, you don't see how powerful you have the power to say no to all these thoughts and not live inside them.
Por esta mix de deseos, aunque ahí está el deseo del Dios y su reino, con esta mix de deseos, I lost the last part. Can you repeat that?
So he says you can defend truth as well as error.
Él dice que podemos defender la verdad al igual que podemos defender el error.
So every time you're not following him 100%, you are defending error.
Cada vez que no estamos siguiendo el 100%, no, estamos defendiendo el error.
Because it was interesting today. Well, they were asking me, well, because I talked a lot about following, and then they asked me, well, tell me about purification.
Entonces, yo estuve hablando mucho en esta entrevista
and the
de
healing your
seguir
mind.
Y de la sanación de la mente.
But
Y entonces me preguntaron acerca de la purificación.
But following him unequivocally is healing your mind. It's accepting miracles because you're saying no to the ego.
Pero seguirlo a él 100% es decirle no al ego y aceptar la sanación.
And this is so true. The means are easier to understand after the value of the goal is firmly established.
Which one is that?
That's it's paragraph 3, line 2.
Okay. El significado es fácil de entender después de que valoras el objetivo firmemente establecido.
I can see that, because as soon as my mind focused on that one goal to know the truth.
Porque inmediatamente la mente se focaliza en un solo objetivo, que es la verdad.
And then you get what the Jesus program really is.
Así te das cuenta que es verdaderamente el programa de Jesús.
You see the power of your mind. You always have the means to transcend this.
Porque tú tienes todos los medios para trascender esto.
But if you have split goals, if you part goals for God and part goal for the world, you're split. And so you're going to experience both worlds. You're going to experience the hell of the world. It has to be 100% God. It can't be anything else.
Dice que si estamos experimentando la separación, la división de dos mundos, el mundo, el reino y el mundo, que tenemos que decidirnos por uno.
It is a question of what is it for?
La pregunta es ¿para qué es? ¿Para qué es esto?
Everyone defends his treasure and will do so automatically. Well,
Cada quien defiende sus tesoros y lo hace automáticamente.
see, and that's how you won't see the puppet you are to the ego.
Tú no puedes darte cuenta de la marioneta que eres del ego.
When you don't follow, you are a puppet to the ego. You're defending the treasure of the ego, what it offers.
Y cuando no sigues, estás siendo una marioneta del ego, de las ofertas que te hace el ego.
When you do not accept 100% miracle, and meaning change your mind 100%, you're protecting the treasure of the ego.
Cuando no sigues 100%, estás protegiendo. Cuando sigues, estás protegiendo la mente del ego.
The real questions are, what do you treasure and how much do you treasure it? Okay.
La verdadera pregunta es, ¿qué atesoras y cuánto lo atesoras?
You cannot transcend this without laying up all your treasures in heaven. You just can't. There's not a way to transcend the ego.
No puedes trascender el ego hasta que no pongas todos los tesoros en el reino.
It has to be God and his kingdom as your only treasure. This is it. This is numero uno.
Y eso debe ser el número uno, el reino de Dios, el reino de Dios, el único objetivo.
1 minute, 1 sec. We're back. How did I get fuzzy? I don't know. Somehow I'm fuzzy. Okay.
Está nubloso, dice.
So it's oh my gosh. You have to treasure yourself. You're precious.
Tienes que atesorarte a ti mismo.
You have to treasure the divine power that you've been given. Oh my God.
Tú tienes que atesorar el poder dado por el Padre.
Every miracle is laying up treasures in heaven.
Cada milagro es atesorar tesoros en el cielo.
Every joining, you are laying up treasures in heaven.
Cada unión es atesorar más tesoros en el cielo.
Every time you follow, you are laying up treasures in heaven.
Cada vez que sigues, estás guardando tesoros en el cielo.
Every time you do not follow, you are laying up treasures in hell.
Cada vez que no sigues, estás atesorando tesoros en el infierno.
That's it. And the funny thing is, you can't see you will not know either.
Pero la parte graciosa es que tú no te das cuenta.
It's about 100 out there, so then the air conditioners can't keep up here. So
Parece que el aire acondicionado no les está llegando.
But you won't see. I can see. I had to trust him. You got to trust him 100% because you won't. It's not going to feel like you're laying up treasures in heaven. It will not feel.
Y no va a parecer que estamos guardando tesoros en el cielo, pero tienes que confiar.
Jesus, this does not feel like laying up treasures in heaven. No, you're not going to feel it like that.
Jesús, no se siente como que estoy guardando tesoros en el cielo.
I feel like, how much more forgiven do I need to do, Jesus? A lot.
¿Cuánto perdón aún Jesús tengo que hacer? Y Jesús
dice, you can ask the beings at the center. If you want the kingdom that is yours.
Y le pueden preguntar a los seres del centro, porque si ustedes quieren el reino de los cielos que es suyo.
It is yours already.
Ya lo es.
So the question is, are you gonna put a stake in the ground and say, that's mine?
Y el tema es, ¿quieres poner una estaca en el can you repeat that? Okay.
You have to put a stake in the ground and say, That is mine. I'm claiming it.
Es poner una estaca en la tierra y decir y reclamarlo. Esto es mío.
And I can see that because Muji would say that.
Y lo puedo ver porque Muji lo diría.
You have to win yourself back.
Tú tienes que.
You know, you have to win
You
yourself
have-
to
What is
win
that?
yourself back.
Tienes que traerte a ti mismo de regreso.
In a way of speaking, because you don't have to win anything. You already won the lottery. This is the humor. You are the lottery.
No tienes que ganarte nada porque tú ya te ganaste la lotería.
You've won the lottery. There's no way to lose this lottery. You can't lose.
Ya ganaste la lotería, ya no hay manera de perderla.
You're 100% the kingdom of heaven. That's it.
Tú eres el reino de los cielos.
Okay.
Eso es.
But no, Jesus, I got something else I have to do.
Y comenzamos, no, Jesús, yo tengo cosas que hacer.
I did it too. I can laugh. I can say that because I did it. I know.
Yo puedo decir esto porque yo también lo hice.
But then, you know, but I've said it before, it's an asteroid belt.
Y yo lo he dicho anteriormente, esto es pasar por la línea
So
de asteroides.
It takes for a time because remember, the ego is going to protest.
Va a requerir cierto tiempo porque el ego va a querer protestar.
The ego does not go, yay, what a good idea to forgive everything. No.
El ego no va a decir, qué buena idea perdonar todo.
It's not going to do that. You've heard the stories. I've told you many stories where I'm, you know, oh, Jesus, you know.
Yo he contado miles de historias donde decía, ay, Jesús, mira.
That's why you have to trust your brothers. You have to, you don't have to do anything. Okay, I'm suggesting, Jesus.
Y por eso es que tú tienes que confiar en tu hermano. Mentira, tú no tienes que, pero te sugiero.
Is get those mighties that will not tolerate you going sideways. Believe me, you're going to want to kill them.
Mantente con estos poderosos compañeros que no se van por los laterales, aunque
because
quieras matarlos.
The ego wants to kill anything that is going to get in the way of its keeping the error of thought.
Porque el ego va a querer mantenerte con estos seres que mantengan el error de pensamiento.
Are you willing to see, not, you know, I'm asking, so can I say that? Yes, he's saying I can say that. Are you willing to see what you're treasuring is not worth it?
Y le estaba preguntando si puedo decir esto. Y dice que si estamos dispuestos a ver que nuestros tesoros no son dignos.
Are you willing to stand into it and see, but not live it, but just see the amount of rage it takes to protect yourself from heaven?
Que si estás dispuesto a pararte y mirar la rabia que de protegernos del cielo, ¿hay esa rabia?
Are you willing to see it? Because here's how the ego handles that. Your brother walks by and seemingly does something and you want to kill, and, you know, and the rage gets projected. It's going to, you know, something outside of you is making the rage. No.
Entonces, porque el ego va a querer proteger esta rabia. Alguien que va caminando al lado mío hace algo y yo estoy proyectando y generando esta rabia.
You need your brother to ask Jesus. I'm saying, ask him. You need your brother to show you where that hidden rage is.
Tú necesitas a Jesús, pregúntale, para que Él te muestre dónde está escondida esa rabia.
This is why the ego does not want to join.
Por eso es que el ego no quiere unirse.
This is why it does not want to follow.
Por eso es que no quiere seguir.
It doesn't want to see underneath that rage. It doesn't want to see that it's fueled by self-delusion.
Porque no quiere que veamos que esta rabia está generada por el autoengaño.
once you have learned to consider these questions and to bring them into all your actions,
Cuando consideres estas preguntas y las tengas en cuenta para todas tus acciones,
you will have little difficulty clarifying the means.
No tendrás dificultad en clarificar los medios.
See, this is why these light circles are so helpful, because they're bringing you into the mind to really look at where your treasure is, what you're treasuring over the kingdom.
Por eso es que estos círculos son tan útiles, porque te muestran dónde estás atesorando otras cosas que no sean el reino.
Because we don't realize that we're treasuring, we think hell is happiness.
Porque no estamos viendo que estamos atesorando y creemos que el infierno es la felicidad.
Look, the means are available whenever you ask.
Los medios están disponibles cuando tú pidas.
Show me the means, Jesus.
Muéstrame los medios, Jesús.
You can, however, save time if you do not protract this step unduly.
Tú puedes, sin embargo, ahorrar tiempo si
Okay.
no
He's saying it
Él
directly.
lo está
Fine.
diciendo directamente.
The correct focus will shorten it immeasurably.
El foco correcto va a cortar esto de manera inconmensurable.
The correction is like, as soon as you no longer value the untrue.
Va a ser muy rápido cuando tú dejes de valorar lo que no es cierto.
The miracles are fast when if it's not a fast miracle, remember we talked about this, there's value on what's untrue.
No es que no fast miracle, no, sorry, ahí los da.
Miracles are fast when you do not hold on to the untrue. You don't
Y los milagros son más rápidos cuando no valoras lo que no es cierto.
So this is, I mean, it's so valuable to have him coach you, to show you where you're valuing wrongly.
Porque es muy útil dejar que él te muestre dónde estás valorando erradamente.
But you really have to trust what comes through your brother, because through Jesus, because you won't see. I know you have, it's like getting to the point of admitting you cannot see where you're valuing wrongly.
Es como que te des cuenta que tú mismo por tu misma cuenta no te puedes dar cuenta dónde estás valorando erradamente.
Hearing that voice so he can tell you where you're valuing wrongly is gold.
Escuchar esa voz te ayuda a ver dónde crees que valorar erradamente es tu tesoro.
You know, they asked me today, did you get a feeling? Do you hear it? Yes.
Y ellos me preguntaban, ¿tienes un sentimiento, hay una emoción de que está él ahí?
But there's nothing like being able to have a conversation with them to get clear.
Pero no hay nada como tener una conversación directa para llegar a obtener la claridad.
So we're going on to the next paragraph.
Así que vamos al siguiente parágrafo.
The mind is very powerful and never loses its creative force.
La mente es muy poderosa y jamás pierde su fuerza creadora.
Okay, here we go. It never sleeps.
Aquí vamos, nunca duerme.
Sleep. I'm asking Jesus if I can say.
Estoy preguntándole a Jesús si puedo decir.
It's an idea, it's a concept.
Dormir es una idea, es un concepto.
You ask him if you're generating day and night. Am I doing that, Jesus?
Pregúntale si estamos generando el día y la noche. ¿Estoy generando esto, Jesús?
Every instant it is creating. Every instant, ask him.
Cada instante es creado. Pregúntale, cada instante.
It is hard to recognize that thought and belief combine into a power surge that can move mountains.
Es difícil reconocer la oleada de poder que resulta de la combinación de pensamiento y creencia, la cual puede literalmente mover montañas.
Well, you're moving mountains through beliefs all the time.
Podemos mover montañas si creemos.
Who's making day and night happen? Ask Jesus. Is God doing that? No.
¿Y quién está haciendo, de por sí ya estamos moviendo montañas, dice, ¿y quién está haciendo la noche y el día? Preguntémoslo, ¿lo está haciendo Dios?
It appears at first glance that to believe such power about yourself is arrogant.
A primera vista parece arrogante creer poseer tal poder, mas no es esa la verdadera razón.
It appears at first glance, but that is not the real reason why you do not believe it. Say, oh.
Mas no es esa la verdadera razón de que no lo creas.
Oh, I love this. You prefer to believe that your thoughts cannot exert real influence.
Prefieres creer que tus pensamientos no pueden ejercer ninguna influencia real.
Because you are actually afraid of them.
Porque de hecho les tienes miedo.
You will never be happy as long as you are afraid of your thoughts.
Nunca vas a ser feliz mientras le tengas miedo a tus pensamientos.
So let's go ahead, ask him, Jesus, am I afraid of my thoughts? Yes or no?
Entonces preguntémosle a Jesús, ¿tengo miedo de mis pensamientos? ¿Sí o no?
See, because you won't accept the power you have, just like, I am not being impacted by it. You see, you have the power to cut that off.
Tienes que darte cuenta del poder que tienes de cortar esto de creer que los pensamientos te pueden
But ask him, am I afraid of my thoughts, Jesus?
Pero preguntemos, ¿tengo miedo a mis pensamientos, Jesús?
And you can see it because I hear beings talk about it too. And yes, Jesus said, yes, I'm afraid of what's going to happen, you know?
Sí, y habla con algunos seres y dicen que sí, porque tengo miedo de lo que pueda pasar, dicen.
But I'm asking him, because that became a big motivator when I realized that subterranean content was, whack-a-mole going to come up, and that made me, I'm asking him if it's okay. Yes, it's a motivator for you to heal your mind.
Y ver que en la mente subconsciente lo disfrutas, que son como un guacamole. De las partes, can you say that? De las partes.
I'm not sure. Okay. Well, it's an incentive plan. When you see that what's in your subconscious mind is coming up and, whacking you.
Es darnos cuenta de que lo que está en su consciente es lo que se presenta.
So it becomes an incentive plan then to clear all of that so you're not whack-a-mole.
Y se vuelve como un incentivo de sanar esto para...
Okay, so this is hilarious. So we're driving to this is where the pond was that I went fishing. It was my brother's property.
Donde estábamos pescando era en la propiedad de mi hermano.
I'm driving up there going, yeah, he's in Tornado Alley.
Y entonces íbamos manejando hacia allá, conduciendo, y había un tornado, Eli.
And so, I woke up and I could hear the dog pacing. The dog knows what's going on out there. Dog's pacing up and down. I could tell. I knew there was some kind of weather thing going on out there. I could hear it. But I'm asking Jesus, do I move? No.
Entonces yo sabía que los perros estaban moviendo y sabía que había un tema del clima y simplemente le pregunté a Jesús, ¿qué tengo que hacer? Y Jesús me dijo que no hiciera nada.
All right. So, but by the time when the dog started barking, because the neighbor came over to get in the tornado shelter, then you just move out to the shelter, But
y cuando los perros comenzaron a ladrar y el vecino vino, simplemente nos movimos al...
so we're like getting out, we go sit in the truck. But you know what? My heart didn't miss a beat. It didn't change.
Pero mi corazón no latió más, no cambió los latidos.
It's like, Jesus, what do you do next? Okay, we're going to go out and sit in the tornado shelter. It's all the same. Just sit in the tornado.
Y simplemente es, le preguntas a Jesús y vas y te sientas en el
Yeah.
lugar de la protección para tornados.
But when, this is the hilarious thing. In the before, when my mind wasn't so purified, I would ask him, Jesus, do I have a desire to be some kind of little twister thing going on?
Y cuando mi mente no estaba tan purificada, yo hubiese preguntado,
But
de
I
Jesús, tengo
don't.
el deseo de
I'm not afraid.
Este movimiento.
But the point is to be in guidance. See, the guidance, you're not going to have a twister. Ask him, was Kay going to experience a twister? No, because I'm following guidance.
Y la pregunta es si es un deseo que está de que no, simplemente ella dice que ella estaba siguiendo la guía.
But your mind, so, so what if a twister comes? Then you just, ask, what do I do next? And you just stay with the spirit.
Y simplemente preguntas qué tengo que hacer, cuál es el siguiente paso y te mantienes en el espíritu. Y no,
and just purify your mind. Make sure your mind is squeaky clean on those adventures. If you need to, I ask them.
Y tú preguntas si tienes que limpiar tu mente de estos deseos.
I'm going to skip to this. There are no idle thoughts.
Which one is that?
There are no idle thoughts. Line 13.
No hay pensamientos futiles.
All thinking produces form at some level.
Todo pensamiento produce forma en algún nivel.
Yes, Jesus. If I clear all desires, hidden desires, will I have thoughts anymore? Ask them.
Sí, preguntémosle, Jesús, si yo clarifico todos mis deseos, ¿voy a tener aún pensamientos?
Thoughts come out of desires. See, if you have miracles, you have that's why you're happy, because you're not judging everything.
Cuando no hay pensamientos, no hay juicios. No estás juzgando nada.
I cannot let you leave your mind unguarded, or you will not be able to help me.
No puedes permitir que dejes de vigilar a tu mente.
You must. I didn't see this at first. I really get this, that you must watch your mind.
Y yo no me daba cuenta de que tienes que vigilar tu mente. Es tienes que hacerlo.
Miracle working entails full realization of the power of thought.
Well, that is
Line 2.
Okay. Obrar milagros requiere el que uno se dé cuenta plenamente del poder de los pensamientos.
In order to avoid miscreation.
Con el fin de evitar la creación falsa.
That's why you start to see if all thoughts are coming from desires and miracles occur at the level of desire, and you don't value desires anymore, it's going to, and you're not valuing thought for your world, to tell you about the world. You're valuing the voice for God.
Sí, entonces si los pensamientos vienen de los deseos y los deseos se clarifican a través de milagros, entonces comienzas a no tener valor por los deseos y ir por el pensamiento de Dios.
You're valuing thoughts of God. See, he steps us. He knows we're addicted to thoughts, so he leads us out. Instead of stopping thought, he's going thoughts of God.
Y él sabe que somos adictos a los pensamientos, y entonces en lugar de pedirnos que paremos los pensamientos, nos da pensamientos de Dios.
Higher order thoughts. The course
pensamientos de un mayor nivel, de un alto nivel, los pensamientos del curso de milagros.
I'm talking to him about, so I'm talking about higher order thoughts. See, he talks to you in higher order thoughts.
Y estoy
Wow.
hablándole
To me.
de los pensamientos de alto nivel y él
May I
me
ask him
dice
about that?
que cuando hablamos con él son
Yeah.
pensamientos de alto
Sí.
nivel.
He's communicating with you in higher order thoughts, thoughts that point toward, because you can't find God in thoughts, but thoughts can point toward what's holy and true.
Entonces, cuando tenemos esta conversación con él, estos pensamientos de alto nivel, él nos está apuntando a la verdad, porque los pensamientos solo pueden apuntar a la verdad.
He is the only one going to know when you're miscreating. That's why you have to ask him, and how not to miscreate. That's why the following is so important.
Él es el único que te puede mostrar dónde estás creando falsamente y dónde
Sí. But the
debes dejar eso.
ego is going to defend that treasure of miscreation.
Pero el ego va a defender ese tesoro de la creación falsa.
But he always points toward divine power, the thoughts of God that point toward wholeness.
Los pensamientos de Dios nos apuntan a la completitud.
And then miracles that are going to change the thoughts, the error thoughts that are being valued, that keep hell.
Y los milagros van a limpiar esta creencia de que, repeat that, please.
So we thank you, Jesus, for this session. I'm very grateful for all of you and the love that you bring in devotion to God.
Doy gracias a todos por traer su devoción a Jesús.
So if you have questions about the power of thought, you can send them and I will answer them in the forum. I mean, in the messenger group, you can send those. I'm happy to answer any questions about the power of thought. It's always for me.
Si tienen preguntas acerca del poder de los pensamientos, pueden enviármelos al grupo de Messenger y los voy a contestar porque todo esto es para mí.
So much love to all of you.
Mucho amor a todos ustedes.
Buenas noches.
Good night.